Hello everyone, welcome back to Tadowski's Shelter. Today we are going to delve a little bit more into heroes and talk specifically about the Doomsday event Season 1 heroes that you will be introduced to, and we will talk about them a little bit. We're going to see how they differ from the heroes you currently have. We're going to talk about how to upgrade them and which ones you should focus your resources on, as well as rank them in comparison to each other. Remember, like the video if you like the video, subscribe for more, and to know when streams are going to happen. We do giveaways during the streams. If you see an alert and you're around, come on in, you might get something for free. And leave a comment to let me know what you want me to talk about. I've had a lot of requests. I'm trying to do as much as I can, so bear with me here. Let's get into it. Doomsday event is the first major event the game alters the way it's played. This event requires more tactics and alliance cooperation. You need to have more attention to detail, and you're gonna have a focus on a wide multitude of areas. You're gonna have to think about tiling and upgrading honor structures, and then battles. That now you're gonna be tossed with brand new heroes that have their own set of skills and abilities. So let's try to focus on one thing at a time, introduce you to the heroes, and we can kind of go from there. Let's talk about the Season 1 heroes. So first off, Season 1 will introduce you to one of the largest groups of heroes that you will come across until Season X Eden area. You are introduced to 9 new heroes. To keep it simple, you can break these 9 heroes into 3 groups of 3. The heroes are going to primarily be based on the troop type. You're going to have 3 heroes that are focused only on shooters, 3 heroes that are focused only on fighters, and 3 on vehicles. Let's talk about these heroes. You will have 3 vehicle heroes. You have the Falcon, the Flash, and Warboss. You have 3 shooter heroes, which are the Janissary, Cincinnatus, and Sharp Arrow. And then you have 3 fighting heroes, which are the Light of the Past, Courageous, and Dragon's Rage. You have 3 big support heroes, which are the Flash, Cincinnatus, and Light of the Past. Those 3 are very similar. And then you have Falcon, Janissary, and Courageous. Those 3 are similar, but they focus a little more on attacks. And then you have 3 main attack heroes, which are Dragon's Rage, Sharp Arrow, and Warboss. These heroes will start to give you higher buffs in various troop type aspects, such as might, resistance, combat speed, etc. But because of the specific troop type that the heroes will need to have associated with them, it will start to push you away from mixed APCs if you haven't already. This should have already been started when you got access to the parts factory, because the parts factory can only allow you to build parts for one type of troop, and it doesn't make sense to have all parts geared for shooters and throwing a vehicle in there. You should have already started to shift away from mixed APCs to a single troop APC. And the reason being is the 7th skill of all these heroes will give the buff to only that troop type. So if you have shooters, but your hero is the Courageous, the shooters won't get any of the buffs from Courageous. Try to get away from mixed APCs for this time frame until you are introduced to parts that allow for mixed APCs again, and heroes that give buffs back to the APC regardless of troops. Remember though, just because these heroes allow higher buff levels does not mean that a full APC of only these Season 1 heroes will perform better than one that has a basic legendary mixed in. The same rules for heroes apply. You gotta read the skills, you gotta understand them, and you have to know the effective range of the skills in order for them to be useful. These heroes will also introduce you to skills that will target your own troops in order to give more buffs and statuses during the battle. Now, I'm not gonna go through every hero and go in every skill in detail. We did that in the hero video. I explained how to look at it and understand it. That's gonna be on you in order to read all the skills and try and understand them. That'd be your homework for the day, for all intents and purposes. But I will point out the major differences between them and the biggest things you need to be aware of. And then at the end, I'm gonna rank these season heroes on which ones you should try to focus on and why. But remember, even if you do recruit any of the Season 1 heroes, there is a huge difference in how you unlock skills with season heroes versus how you were doing it in the past with your basic legendary, and this can alter who you decide to use. All season heroes still require the initial recruitment in order to obtain them. Once you do, the first 5 skills are unlocked the same way as any other hero would be. However, once you get to the last 3 skills, they're going to be unlocked the same way some development heroes or SP heroes get unlocked. You're going to need a hero-specific medal to unlock each one of those skills. It's not like an SP hero where you do a couple levels, then you need more SP medals, you do a couple levels, you need more SP medals. Once you unlock the skill, you can upgrade it with normal wisdom medals the entire way. But to initially unlock it, each skill will require 1 hero-specific medal. So in total, you will need to recruit or obtain 4 total medals to unlock any season hero. The first one being the initial recruitment. The other 3 are going to be just copies. So what are the main differences between the Season 1 heroes and your basic legendary heroes? Well, we kind of discussed the first one. The Season 1 heroes will start to lead a specific troop type. Now, this isn't a new concept. This was introduced to you earlier with the basic legendary heroes of Razor, Militant, and Iron Guard. Another difference is that you will gain a higher level of buffs than you did earlier. For example, the 3rd and 4th skill, which is the same for every hero, the offensive and defensive formation buff, will give you a 50% increase to might and resistance versus the normal 35. The 7th skill that gives a buff to the entire formation, which is the entire APC, is going to be geared towards a specific troop type. Another huge difference is that 3 of the heroes will introduce skills that can be activated for your APC. Now, you can do this in a couple of different ways. You could do it from the APC menu by clicking on the skills button at the top, or you can do it directly through the hero skill. Now, these 3 heroes will give the APC a normal buff when it's not activated. However, for a specific set time, an activated skill will give a significant increase to the APC's might, resistance, etc. The main thing you need to know is to look at each hero individually and understand where they can fit in the grand scheme of your plan. Who can you match these heroes with to give you the best opportunity of winning? You cannot just put all these Season 1 heroes together and expect to win. Remember, basic legendary heroes can be matched with any troop type. It could still be beneficial to match a basic legendary with your season heroes and have a very strong APC. But what about the heroes themselves? There's some things I want to point out about the heroes to note and to understand. First, Flash, Cincinnatus, and Light of the Past, 8 skills are the ones that apply to the first round of battle and ends after the 4th round of battle. So if your battle goes to the 5th round, their last skill will not be in effect. Janissary, Courageous, and Falcon's final skill activate on the 5th round until the end of the battle. Another important thing to note is Dragon's Rage, Sharp Arrow, War Boss have a skill activation buff. And basically for 20 minutes, it has a significant increase in might, resistance, and combat speed. And then it has a 15-hour cooldown. When the buff isn't activated, you still have a buff increase. These 3 are extremely similar and are the primary fighters of this season. The others are more geared towards support with some attack benefits. Dragon's Rage and Sharp Arrow have potential to suppress your enemy with their 5th skills. However, War Boss can still hit all 3 squads with good damage with his 5th skill. Before we get into ranking the heroes, I want to point something out. Taking into account how you upgrade Season 1 heroes, I want to give a little bit of advice. Be very frugal and smart on how you use your super recruit tickets. And I bring this up because as you progress, your Season 1 heroes will start to look the same as your basic legendary heroes as you get further along. So don't go into Season 1 and blow all your super recruit tickets trying to obtain these heroes. You will get a lot of opportunity to get copies of these heroes in various ways through fragments or the arena or getting special recruit ticket. You're gonna want to save your super recruit tickets and use them smart. Throughout the seasons, there will be what's called recruitment pools. And during these pools, you are guaranteed a hero out of the selected heroes in that pool after a certain amount of tickets have been used. That would be your smartest choice in obtaining copies if that's what you're trying to do. With that being said, let's get into the rankings of the heroes. So this is my personal ranking on how I feel these heroes are. These are the ones that I feel are the most powerful in this group alone. This is only comparing these season heroes to these season heroes. I am not comparing them to season 2, 3. I'm not comparing them in the overall scheme of things. I'm just talking about this season. Where do these heroes fit? Which ones are the more powerful ones? And which ones should you focus on? So I'm breaking it down into S class, A class, B class, C class, okay? For S class, the best heroes this season are going to be War Boss, Dragon's Rage, and Sharp Arrow. These will be considered my S class for season 1. These are going to be the strongest of the group and are your actual fighters. All their combat skills are strong, they deal a significant amount of damage, and the extra buffs for your resistance and might and all that stuff make these heroes far superior out of all of the options for season 1. And with their activated ability, that can really push your APC through even the toughest opponent. Do not forget about that skill, because during battles, when alliances are garrisoning their honor structures, that would be a perfect time to activate the skill to push in there. That is the reason why these 3 are far superior than any other. As for A class, I don't really have an A class. I don't feel that any of these heroes, even compared with each other, are not A class. I feel like there's an entire missing level in this season because I don't feel that any of them really stand out besides the 3 that I mentioned, and the rest of them aren't that great. I feel like the next one would be B class. And for B class, I have Cincinnatus, Flash, and Light of the Past. Now, I felt like maybe one of them might have been an A class, but because they're so similar and they all alter on like one skill, I felt like they're still equivalent. The reason these ones are B class is because the first 4 rounds of battle are some of the most important ones. This can determine how the rest of the battle will go, and most battles end within the first 4 rounds. So having the biggest buffs in the first half will help you bring your enemy down faster. Now, this is going to depend on who you match them with, but a good combination with these three can do significant damage in the beginning rounds of battle and end it early. And that's kind of why they're B class and below, because these heroes cannot do anything by themselves because they're such support heroes, and they're not even a high tier support. There's really nothing that stands out saying these guys are awesome, except for they give buffs during the first 4 rounds of battle. And that brings us to our C class: Janissary, Falcon, and Courageous. Yeah, okay, I admit these 3 heroes look more badass than the other 3, but their skills are almost exactly the same, with the exception of the last skill. Now, these 3 are more attack focused than the ones I put in the B class, so that technically will make them more effective in battle because they actually do more damage. But the problem there is they only attack 1 squad each. On top of that, the final skill only kicks in after the first 4 rounds of battle have happened, and all it does is increase combat damage, just the same as the ones above. And the issue there is, if you don't make it through the first 4 rounds, their skill is useless. You have to pre-plan to have an APC loadout that is geared around holding out for the first 4 rounds of battle. And most people don't build APCs in that sort of fashion. You don't build it mainly to hold out unless you're doing a duel and you can see what the opponent has and you try to adjust accordingly. That's why I feel like they're C class, because the majority of the time, these 3 are not going to be very beneficial to the majority of people. Now, are these 3 better than a lot of the basic legendary heroes? Yes, but I'm not comparing these heroes to your basic legendary. I'm only comparing these heroes to the season 1 heroes as a whole. And as a whole, I do not feel that these 3 heroes are worth putting that much effort into building up. Is it a complete waste of time? No. Would I go out of my way to focus on them? No. So most people are going to focus on the main 3 of Dragon's Rage, Sharp Arrow, and War Boss, but others can fit into the mix as you see fit and you plan them out. Overall, season 1 is more of an introductory event, and the heroes involved are more introductory to the way heroes will start to be focused and evolve. Heroes will start to require specific troop types, and their skills will start to become more and more detailed in what they can do. You'll start to see that in action here. You will have 3 heroes with activatable skills and decent buffs, and others that have skills that activate during specific rounds and end at certain rounds. You'll also start to see these skills have more statuses that can affect friendly troops as well as your enemies. I know I may make it sound like the season 1 heroes aren't worthwhile or good, but in reality, they do have advantages over the heroes you currently have. It's important to realize that a good combination can make your APC formidable during this time frame when everyone should still have about the same advantages and disadvantages. Remember, like the video if you like the video, subscribe for more, check out the streams, get some free stuff, and leave a comment. We'll talk about another topic and go from there. Remember, we're here to help each other and look out for each other. Not here to say I know everything, I don't know everything. I'm trying to break it down as easily as possible, and there is a lot to go over. I hope you guys enjoy your week. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Look out for each other, help each other, and until next time, be safe out there.